You talking to me? You talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you. Well, what's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. You're going to get sick of me, people. You're going to be sick and tired. You're going to say, please, no more, Mark, please, no more, we can't handle it, no more. But just when you think you can't take no more, we gonna get some more. Alexa, turn on the lamps 50%. Look at that. Finally, somebody that listens to me. So we have a busy day today. We've been going since 6 a.m. this morning, and I said we're going to do the Dirty Dozen. Walker Wade just called me and said, man, forget the Dirty Dozen. He said, you need to do 15. You need to do 15 on this thing today. And program notes, because we got a call from Dan Salio that said, great move. What you doing today? So at 4:15, we will be live with Dan Salio and Philly 500 and have something that I can actually fight about. I finally got some good news to go on the Dan Salio show. Thank God I do. Thank God I do. And also, too, we're going to be talking to somebody close to Dak Prescott. About the move right here, and that will be his Uncle Philip, who helped raise Dak. And, you know, he's a friend of the show and all that, so we'll be getting him after we do the Dan Salio show, get his thoughts on this, because he was excited as can be. He was so freaking excited about the fact that we ended up getting Tyler Booker. And now that we got the weapon, the receiver, I know he's going to go cray, okay? And let me go through here and say, this is actually some amazing stuff. Now, already I'm getting all the haters out there that say Dak Prescott's got no excuses now. He's got no excuses. Well, okay, all right, I'll take it. I'll take it on that one. I'll take it, yeah. We finally have two legitimate wide receivers, with Pickens being 6'3", a deep threat. And here's where it works really good. I'm going to give you a shout out to Warren Sharp, who says, this is wild. It is wild. Now check this out. Dak Prescott, the last 2 years. I know people say, Dak Prescott, he's not accurate. Dak Prescott can't read defenses. No, Dak Prescott's got receivers that can't get separation. The people are always draped on the receivers, okay? And even with that, and typically only having one weapon, which is CeeDee Lamb, because you can talk about the injury this past year, and he wasn't great the first, games while he was in there. The year before, you can honestly say it was just the CeeDee Lamb show. CeeDee Lamb had over 1,700 yards. Brandon Cooks was 1,000 yards behind him. It was the one-trick pony. But check this out. Dak Prescott, the last 2 years, number one with most passing yards on 15-yard go routes. Okay? Numero uno on 15 yards or more down the field go routes. He was number two, not taking it number two. I see what y'all are going to do. But second most attempts on 15-plus yards go routes. In other words, he went down the field more than everybody but one guy. George Pickens, the last 2 years, with quarterbacks that aren't exactly, they've had musical quarterbacks, musical chairs. George Pickens, number one, most receiving yards on 15-plus yards go routes. Oh, shit. You mean we've got the guy who's had the most passing yards on go routes to the guy who has the most receiving yards on go routes? Oh, shit. But here we have another one. Second most catches on 15 yards go routes. They're both number one and number two. Also, this is one of those ones that's, oh shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Dak Prescott also, contrary to popular belief, the number 3 best accuracy of the top 40 quarterbacks right now. Third best accurate quarterback. Third most accurate quarterback in accuracy of the top 40 quarterbacks. Yeah, you heard me.
I'm standing here. You make the move. You make the move. It's your move. I'm trying you.
It's your move. It's your move. Okay? Yeah, you see what we did there. Yeah, it's a new era here. We got to get some new shit up in here. But here, there's a lot of people out there that are saying he's a cancer. Okay? Well, you know what? You have a lot of guys that you brought in that are leaders in the locker room. That's why you have those guys. So that way you can get a talented young receiver to get on board. And for the Cowboys to make this move, I know you've seen me a lot today. Okay, I'm trying to get it all together because I got to get my thoughts together for Philly 500 and Dan Salio. I know they're going to be double teaming me and telling me it's still stupid move and all that. But here's the thing. This is a no-brainer. People are trying to say the Steelers won this trade. A third-round draft pick. So let me see if I got this straight. What did we use to get Jalen Tolbert? What did we use to get Jalen Tolbert? A 3. We took Jalen Tolbert as a 3. Some people said, well, he's going to have to be our number 2. I'm happy for Jalen Tolbert because Jalen Tolbert is definitely a winner in this situation because he gets out there and you got to worry about CD and Pickens. They're going to forget about Jalen Tolbert. Look for Jalen Tolbert to have a monster season. I'm telling you, look for Jalen Tolbert to have a monster season because you can't cover them all. They're going to have all kinds of speed. Be that as it may, a number 3 is what we use for Jalen Tolbert and things. And Jerry Jones told us that, that number 3 was definitely worth it. Now, they've also been trying to sell us that the number 4 that we traded for Jonathan Mingo, because they had a second-round grade on him, that was a great move. Well, I can say a number 3 for a guy who's almost averaged 1,000 yards his first 3 seasons, I'd say that's pretty good. I'm going to say Rich Eisen seems to like this as well. Let's go to Rich.
You're holding up your release of fandom for the Dallas Cowboys. No, he has not.
Is it signed?
Well, here's how we're starting. On this program. Many people will say to us, hey, enjoy your show. We say thank you.
You're welcome.
After that, they might say, one of my favorite segments is Overreaction Monday. We say thank you to that.
Of course.
And that's part of the reason why we have also created a podcast off of that. And, those two things are separate, but it's all part of the same world in which we've created here, where that and what's more likely is usually the subject matter or segment where people will say to us, we'd love to revisit, check your work a little bit. How have your takes, opinions, or in the case of what you do, Chris, subject matters, the constructs of the segments.
Sure.
How accurate are they? How do they age? Well, on Monday's edition of the Rich Eisen Show, on Overreaction Monday, this happened.
Remember before the draft when the Cowboy came up and Jerry Jones was like, I'm working on some big things and I got some trades in the hopper. Maybe before, maybe after, he called them substantive. Actually, he's not working on anything. There are no substantive trades, like he said before the draft. Nothing is happening.
And I called that an overreaction. And I also appreciate excellent editing to our crack staff to edit out the fact that I said, basically, the reason why it's an overreaction is because there could have been trades going into the draft, but the trade partners got cold feet, or the board of the draft broke in a certain way, and they wanted to use their draft choice on a certain player. So no deal, Jerry. And I then said, now that the draft's over, certainly nothing's going to be happening. Well, we all
Jerry
woke up
proved
this
wrong.
morning to the news that the Dallas Cowboys have acquired the wide receiving services of George Pickens from the Pittsburgh Steelers, who get a third-round pick in next year's draft and a fifth-round pick in the 27 draft, now in Washington, D.C., in which the Cowboys will see a sixth-round pick from Pittsburgh go their way, and so does George Pickens in the final year of his
Gotta love it.
rookie contract.
Gotta love it.
So there's that.
Okay.
Jerry has been cooking on something, and this is a substantive trade that now adds a highly talented, physical, outside the numbers presence to an offense that really hasn't had much of an answer to the question of what happens if defenses shade their coverage to take CeeDee Lamb out of the game. And basically, it's been on CeeDee Lamb to say, doesn't matter. And that has happened more often than not, to the tune of CeeDee getting his nice chunk of the pie last year, albeit later than what everybody thought Jerry should give it to him.
There is less pie.
So now you add a guy who can take the top of the defense off on the other side of the field. Now you add a guy that will bring a certain physical aspect to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And now you add a guy who would become expendable in Pittsburgh, and that's obviously a lot of questions involving that. If he's so damn talented, and if Aaron Rodgers is deciding whether or not to come off the beach in Malibu and get other personal affairs of his in order to the point where he can focus on playing football again, which is the scenario that he himself laid out for us last time we heard from him on Pat's show. Does this make him think, why do I need to get my affairs in order? We just lost a major piece in George Pickens.
It's like, I'm going to keep my ass at home.
Let's take the Cowboys side of this, as I mentioned. I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
You should like it too, TJ, because when they announce this trade officially, we should have Jerry Jones hold up the front page of today's Dallas Morning News to once again prove that there is a sign of life in that front office with a splash to it. Nice splashy move right there. And absolutely, one would think the Dallas Cowboys will take their time on signing George Pickens for various reasons. One, because that's what they do, is they take their time to the point where we're wondering, do you not know what time it is? It's time to pay your guy. Mm-hmm. And what they're not going to do also is pay a kid just new to the team when all Jerry's been doing for the last 2 years at least is to say everybody around here needs to sing for their supper and the right to have the star on the side of your helmet. And they're going to let George Pickens, I would imagine, go through this entire season to say, I want a bag, Jerry. Look what I just did for you. Look what I just did for Brian Schottenheimer in a crucial first season for him. Look what I just did for Dak in his crucial return to action and health. Look what I've done to this offense. Look what I've done for this offense. Look what I can do to the opposing defense in a very deep end of the talent pool in the National Football League and the National Football Conference Eastern Division, where the Super Bowl champions reside, and the top two teams now in my way too early.
Oh, shit.
The Washington Commanders have vastly improved things, and one would think the Giants have definitely stepped up their ability to win football games.
NFC East is going to be
last year as
raw.
well. Although I do need to see who's playing quarterback there and what happens. No, but they're a better team, you could say.
The NFC East is going to be a beast.
And the Cowboys.
I hope y'all took the over on the 7.5.
All it did was cost him a 3 and a 5 next year.
No, the
And
5
they're
the following year.
Yeah, what's that?
But again, the way I'm taking it is very un-cowboy-like for the last few years to just go ahead and make a big splash. Because this is
At this early, too.
We've been
This is
promised
splashing.
something for how long, right? And as you know, I'm losing faith over here. Monaco's losing faith in there. Other fans are losing.
Don't drag our director in.
Oh, no, he knows. He already knows.
drag it in.
Because I'm not taking, either we ride together, we die together, me and Monaco on this cowboy train. So my thoughts are his thoughts and vice versa. But we've been promised, man. You know what I'm saying, Brockman? Like, yeah, we're going to do something. I got a text at 4:30 this morning, and I'm angry. I woke up. I was like, who the heck is this? And then I saw the text. I was like, what?
Who sent you a text at 4:30 in the
My
morning
fantasy
about this?
football group chat.
Nice. East Coasters?
Yeah, one guy in the East Coast. Yeah.
What a,
Nice.
I would be. That is a foul.
I was upset, but I let it pass because it was good.
It was
news.
good news.
I'm not gonna be mad. So yeah. So on behalf of me and Monaco and Brockman and all of Cowboy Nation, you see this release of fandom.
you gonna rip it?
I said I was never going to sign this.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
It's for life.
Well, it's
Like
not
the
really
NWO.
notarized.
It's faux life.
Felly's not a notary.
It's faux life.
Felly.
Let's
Well,
go.
don't
You got
worry.
me back. I was out, Rich. I wanted to
What?
leave.
You got a
But I'm back.
I got a copy.
I'll rip
He's
it
got a
too.
copy.
Matter of fact, I'll set that one on fire. Point is, I ain't out. Show some life. Show me that at least you're trying. That's That's all you really want, man.
Well,
It's just-
Dr. Jones with my rubber glove is going to make sure every one of you are safe.
Good stat for Mina Kimes in the last 2 years. George Pickens tied with Justin Jefferson for the most 20-plus air yard catches in the league.
I mean, Russ throwing the typical Russ moonball. You know, that was part of their massive chunk play offense.
Yeah.
That caused them to go from 4-2 to 10-3, but something caused them to go from 10-3 to barely making the playoffs and making the playoffs and then barely
Showing signs of life.
it. You know, and Pickens, you know, they're our friends at ESPN this morning were showing a bunch of moments where veterans had to go up to calm him down. He's barking at people in the stands, barking on the sidelines, whatever's going on. If you remember, Tomlin came on the air and said after Pickens' first year there that he kept telling George to do the routine things routinely because everything else, the acrobatic stuff, the physical acts of freakishness, that he needed no polishing on that.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it before. He'll make the, one-handed catch in traffic, and then he'll drop a 5-yard slant as the ball hits him right in his hand. It's kind of weird.
So congratulations there, sir.
Thanks. Like I said, man, just show me something. Like, show us that you care.
Show some
as much as
activity.
you care. And this is, I think it's going to give good favor to the fans to let us know that, all right.
And Steeler fans,
Oof.
again, once upon a time, it wasn't like, all right, our quarterback plan is to just keep on bridging and bridging and bridging.
Mm-hmm. You got none,
and or I guess bridging and bridging. They've bridged the last 2 years, and or it does appear that this year is another bridge plan. And the question is, are they bridging to Will Howard? Are they bridging to 2026?
Is
What
it
are they
the
bridging
Rainbow
to?
Bridge?
So, and it's
Arch Manning.
Steeler-like to, while you're bridging, bringing in a wide receiver and paying him
That much. Yeah.
that much money.
Yep.
And then taking another wide receiver who would be wonderfully paired with him for the guy that you're hoping to lure off the beach here in Malibu.
Yep.
Unless he doesn't need to be lured. You just got to, in Tomlin we trust, and say, don't worry.
Here, Coach.
Don't worry, Aaron. We just saved you a massive headache.
Yeah, Aaron, we just saved you a massive headache. All right, so good people, about an hour and 15 minutes, we'll be on getting ready for the Dan Saleo show, and of course we will have Leo at some point today. We'll have Dak's uncle, Philip. We will be doing it live. I'm Mark Holmes, and I appreciate you all. Peace out.